50-50 on it, which means I'll probably take it out. Fuck it. You can see with the NASDAQ over here, you are getting a gap up right into the range. So what's going to really kind of happen is now with this gap up and you got pre-market high and you got the kind of resistance from the previous day, right? Your ORB spot, and then you also, right, that like kind of quick squeeze we had in the morning. Yesterday there was a lot of action, right? There was definitely some action going on. You know, our mistake on yesterday, one of the mistakes when I was reviewing our trades was we were really focused in on the TVIX when it was really the NASDAQ that was actually moving down. TVIX flatline, but the market was getting flushed. You know, sometimes we got to look for the disconnects in there. Like if one's moving without the other, there could be a red flag there. So we've got to make sure that, you know, we're kind of creeping on that and going to individual stocks like when something like that's not moving. But I would definitely keep an eye on this. I got this SWKS watch list. This thing was down 10%. Real clean mover yesterday too, right? You got the breakdown, pull back into the VWAP, then the rollover. You're getting a slight gap up in this thing today. If the market starts to roll, which it might, gaps have been getting faded a lot in this market. Doesn't mean it's going to, but gaps do get faded in this market quite a bit. You know, this thing may go green to red and we'll be able to dust this thing back down. There's a whole host of these kind of like inverse ETFs like LABD, SQQ. They got really good daily charts. You got to break out, right? Pull back to the 20 SMA and a remount of the 9, which is like kind of your telltale spot that shows you like, right, that something is that something is working. So just be mindful of this. It is gapping down a little bit today, but it should just take it right back onto support. What we'll have to do is watch these things. If the gap starts to fill, we'll have to come in and really get this thing shredded to the down, you know, upside. Amit, what's going on, baby? How you doing? That's a 32-hour question. You got to come into class and then come into webinars. That's not an easy one, but you can hit me up and email me anytime. SQ, this was a nice shredder for us yesterday. We caught this a few times. It is gapping up about 3-4%. We'll have to watch this thing. You know, there was some breakdown spots around here in terms of its ORBs. It was down 8%. It may squeeze a little bit today, but remember, gaps have been getting faded, right? In this market, we get gaps faded quite a bit. You know, if you look at all these kind of solid candles on the NASDAQ, right, those solid candles are spots where the market gapped up, but then, right, refaded and closed lower than it opened. And that happens a lot. And we've actually had quite a few days where the market's gapped up and just completely rolled over red and went with the red roll. So we'll have to just be real mindful of what's going down. One thing to kind of just think about is that the open has been like, yesterday the open was hot. Like you had to take the shots at the open. But like, you know, a lot of days, right, you got to kind of wait out 5-10 minutes before you get a clear direction. But the last 2 days, I mean, you know, the first 5-10 minutes have been given. After 5-10 minutes, we've been getting clear direction and clear trend on what's happening, and you've got to, you know, play accordingly instead of playing catch up, right? A lot of times people are playing catch up instead of, right, being really reactive immediately to what's going down. I keep this SOXX on the watch list too. Like semiconductors down 6% yesterday. This was up 17.5. It is opening red right now. But I got this on watch for a potential red to green. If the market fades off, this one had all the fun range. 13 million shares in volume, up 17%. If we go red to green on this bad boy, I'll be watching this one. You know, when you have something on your watch list, like, so say you make a watch list, it's a bearish ETF, right? So now, like, you're hoping, right, that it like opens flat or opens strong. Usually that's where your mind is at. But what if it opens down weak, right? And you're down like 5, 6, 7% at the open. Do you immediately take it off your watch list? Not at all, right? What you want to start watching is if an opening range that starts to develop, and then if you thrust over it, right, you may take a small starter, and then if you go red to green and completely fill the gap, like then that's a secondary play. So the actual filling of the gap is one type of play, And then the secondary play is actually the red to green and then what happens over it, right? So stocks tend to trade in boxes. So you have two different boxes like you're always looking at, right? You have the space in between the gap when you have something on your list of gaps down, and then you have the space that comes in from the red to green, right? So that's two different aspects of how you're always trading ranges and how you're always looking for, an edge in some of your names. I added this run-on watch list for Bear Flag. This thing was down 10%. Man, it had a nice little shredder on this thing. You are getting a little bit of opening green on it, but this is something that also could potentially go green to red at some point. Same thing with PCRX. The thing is when you have like a big down day, like every stock that shows up on your scanner will look nasty. This is a Bear Flag too. This is something to keep an eye on. It's got pretty good range on this. And then the rest of it is all going to look. So on the upside, we should keep Netflix on our watch list. It's just been going bonkers lately anyways. But you're finally getting over this kind of 20, this would be the 50 SMA. So Netflix, 50 SMA is like, I think 50 SMA is like kind of the main one that, is for like longer term traders. When you're, out of all the big FANG stocks, it's the only one that's starting to remount some of those areas. The one thing I'd be kind of careful of is I'd wait maybe a day or two because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. This would be day 7. So at some point, I would think this is going to be a buy because it is just showing that kind of strength. But for today, I'm not trusting that gap. First of all, the gap is happening on an upgrade, which, look, when you get a stock that's an upgrade from Goldman Sachs, I mean, that's usually like their buddy calls, right? He's like, hey, Steve. Hey, what's up, Steve? Hey, dude, I'm stuck in a lot of these shares of Netflix. Like, I need to get it moving real quick so I can fucking sell out of this thing, right? Hey, no problem, Bob. Shall we play a little croquet later today? Yes, no. Let's do a little cocaine and let's get a little hookers. But first, let's get you out of this Netflix stock by doing a little upgrade, right? They popped the stock 10 points. Next thing you know, right, his buddy Steve is dumping it. And then Bob is saying, okay, cocaine and hookers tonight? Yes, let's do it. And then they're celebrating, right? And next thing you know, we're left holding the bag, right? So that's where you want to go. I just picked Steve and Bob. Those are like the two whitest names I can think of. What would be the whitest name you could think of? Steve, Bob, Charles. Charles is a nice white name. Strong English name. Strong English name. Charles is like a name of kings, too. That's a strong Anglo-Saxon name. Good. Cool. So, yeah, this is, I think you're going to keep an eye on this, but just not for today. AMD, flat bottom breakdown, 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. Right, so I keep this on your list too. It's gapping up a little bit. And then on the long side, man, this J-Nug is hot. You got watch these J-Nugs and Nuggets. These things are looking real hot. Kip, that is a nice white name. Gilbert, okay. Oh, shit. That is awesome. Sherbert. That's true. Only white people have been doing the thing like where you name like your kids after fruit and like you name your kids like after like cities, right? It's like Augusta, Savannah, and you're like stripper, right? Anytime you hear them, but people are going crazy naming their kids after that stuff. I don't know, Robert. I just got to mess with it sometimes. So I keep an eye on this J-Nug and Nugget too. I know we're getting a little sidetracked here. Both of these are looking hot to trot on the daily charts. So I definitely keep an eyeball on these. I don't know if the market's going to hold its gap. It very well could. We're in a news-driven market. What you want to do is just watch the ranges and then let the ranges develop into what it's got to be. But we won't know till we know. Good, 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 good. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Oh, we got a few minutes. Yeah, so Apple, I think, you know, you might get a little pop on it today just because the market is. You know, obviously the overall trend is down. I mean, this thing has been destroyed, you know, at some point. You know, everybody kind of knew the earnings were going to suck with all this China stuff going on. I mean, at some point, you probably see a bottoming process. You know, that news has been priced in. Yesterday's news has been priced in probably for months. Because in the end, the Chinese people, they're going to pay, okay? They're going to pay, and they're going to pay big, eh? Make deals, fantastic deals, okay? Good, good. What else? Anthony, what you got? Dust? Yeah, we could probably play a little Dust. Yeah, we could probably play a little Dust. Amazon. Man, this thing is stuck under resistance, guys. I'm not sure on this one. Man, I'm 50-50 on that one. I think you are starting to remount, but, like, you know, you've already had, like, a really nice pop on this thing. So it just becomes one of those things, like, do we really need to, you know, hit this thing right there? Cool. All right, let's go do what we do and make something happen. Yeah, Flaxseed I got on my list, too. Well, you know what? 120 is really not that far away, so, you know, be good. We'll be getting close. Yeah, keep an eye. I would really watch, like, I'd really get a little gander of this, shit, I forgot my train of thought. Oh, yeah, this UGAZ at some point. I mean, it's been acting like a huge turd, but I do think this thing's probably getting ready to bounce at some point. One thing to remember, guys, remember, I'm watching the open here, but gut feeling, you know, I'll look for signals at some point after a big spike to get a rollover. We've faded a lot of gaps over the, you know, we've faded a lot of gaps recently. Good, 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 good. Cool. Let's partay, guys. We got trades to make.